Welcome back to the Charismatic Voice. Today we're going to be continuing with some metal history in the form of Judas Priest, featuring lead singer Rob Halford. Now this will be my very first time hearing Judas Priest and Rob Halford, so I'm quite excited. Your most requested song was Painkiller, so that's what we're going to do. And we're going to be looking specifically at the music video of this, which I was warned might induce seizures, so take that for what it's worth. Now, in order to prepare for this video, I did do a little bit of reading up. Judas Priest, I think they formed in 1969, but it wasn't until 1973 that Rob Halford joined the band. And then they saw a lot of success together during the 70s and 80s, and that was really the time that established them as a quintessential metal band. And that was also during the time that Painkiller was released. Now, in the 90s, Rob Halford and the band split for about a decade until 2003. And during that time, he had an interview with MTV in 1998 when he came out as gay. And then the band got back together in 2003 and released an additional 4 albums. I think they had 11 before. It's a crazy amount of albums. So we're talking about a very long and extensive career here, and it's my first time that I get to hear them. So let's get to it. Whoa, okay, that was not a joke in the intro. This really could cause a seizure. Very flashy, so be aware. Let's go back. Whew. I did not expect that so suddenly. That's a cool intro. It's not very often that the drum solo gets an intro. I liked that. I dig it. Also, he was playing around a lot with the tempo in there. Definitely a lot at the very beginning. Oh man, it was kind of hard to watch the video at the beginning. But really, really cool drum solo that gets us into a definite state of mind right away. That's much higher than I expected it to be. I thought, early 70s, 80s, I would expect something that was almost more mellow. And the voice and maybe deeper. I was not expecting this kind of high voice. And it sounds like he's using a bunch of fry on the sound. So it sounds like he's got like a little bit of a fry scream going on in there. It's always present in his voice that I've heard so far. Interesting. Okay, I want to go back. Where do you start singing? I liked the slides on this and that had a very purposeful beginning note and end note. It sounded like it was playing a little bit with the harmony of the song at that point. Interesting. I am not sure that I like his voice. It is totally not what I was expecting. Thank you for always making recommendations that are so unexpected. This is very surprising, guys. I don't know if I like his voice, but I'm impressed by it. So we'll keep listening. Ooh, oh, it sounded like we might have had some subharmonics there that entered with the fry scream on the way down. Let me check that. That might have also just been vocal layering. I think that's probably just vocal layering, but it would have been possible to do the same thing. I think this is with some subharmonics added there. This is very curious. His voice reminds me of an electric guitar in its upper range with a little bit of distortion. I think it really works for this genre. It's just much more cut and pierced than I was expecting. A lot of aggression in upper tones without necessarily sounding like the vocal folds are about to fall apart. It sounds like a very healthy sound, actually, like a very sustainable long time, even though it is very, very pointed. Interesting. That was a super cool section. I like these parallel fists that he's singing in. That's the harmonies, so they're always moving in parallel motion. That's the kind of thing that we might associate with monks singing, so it has this feeling of more ancient traditions. To have that here in this very forward-facing music, especially for the 70s and 80s, I think that's a really interesting way to pull from the past. I like that crossover a bunch. And this scream at the end went up really high. It was good. Let's go back a little bit and hear that again. I 100% think that Rob Halford could do a vocalize on a vowel, so just sing a vowel the whole time, or like make sounds that are very vowel-like instead of actual words, and sing this guitar line and sound pretty close to the same as this guitar. I really want to hear that. I probably never actually will hear that, but I think that's one of the reasons this works. That was some cool sounds in there too. Oh, nice. I really like the way in this guitar solo that you have moments where it's just a ton of notes flying by really fast, and then you have one that's drawn out. That way you never get complacent and enjoying the fast notes or the slow notes with the lovely vibrato that's put in at the end. And there also are some really interesting distortions there at the end too. Also, I've been wondering if so far during this video, all of the flashings are going to make it really difficult to edit this video. I'm so sorry if it's flashy and weird on the colors. It's going to be what it's going to be. Okay, let's keep going. let's talk a little bit about these lyrics. There's clearly a lot of religious references in them. Let's see. Flying high on rapture, stronger, free, and brave, nevermore encaptured. They've been brought back from the grave with mankind resurrected forever to survive. Returns from Armageddon to the skies. This is, this is interesting. I'm not really sure what the band is going for completely here. I haven't been watching the lyrics as closely, even though I did read them ahead of time. He is the painkiller is what they're about to say. This is the painkiller. I think it's particularly interesting that they say he is the painkiller and this is the painkiller, because it gives you an idea that there are maybe multiple painkillers that they're referring to, or maybe it's left open for interpretation. And wings of steel, painkiller, deadly wheels, painkiller. Interesting. Okay, let's keep going. The painkiller, this is the painkiller, wings of steel, painkiller, deadly wheels, painkiller. Okay, I think we're going to get into his voice a little bit more now that I've heard it somewhere. He is threading it largely through an E position. And you can tell partly because of the way he's continually going to the painkiller instead of pain. He goes very forward, very bright with the placement. We already know this from listening to him. You say like, yeah, he has like a very bright, very forward, very cutting placement. Would help to cut through a ton of sound in, say, for example, a rock band. But wherever the E vowel feels in his face, it sounds like he's threading everything else through it to try and maintain that same kind of sound the whole time. If you listen to his vowels, there's always a little hint of that E placement. You hear painkiller, wings of steel, painkiller, like even the kill, it's not killer, it's killer, which has much, much more forward placement for that eh. Check this out. I don't know if you can hear that shading of E that's there. It's pretty common for someone to find a vowel that they really like as a professional singer and then sort of base other vowels off of it. So wherever your voice is optimal or where you find a sound that you really like, some people will base that off of an ah vowel. E vowels are pretty common too, or oo vowels. So it's very interesting to hear it so forward though. This is a much more forward placement overall than I would usually hear. What happened? Wow, nice last beat. So cool. That like scratching sound is so clear. I almost thought that it was something in the room. I was about to take my headphone off and I was like, wait a second, is that in there? I think that's in there. Ah, cool. That's scared. I feel like something is scratching off to my right. It's uncomfortable. This is the lowest we've heard him sing so far. Okay, and there's more depth in his sound down here. Weird. man, this is wild to listen to, guys. It's really nice to hear he's maintaining that same little bit of fry there in his voice, even down in the lows. Definitely has more depth in his sound down there. And the placement for him in the upper register, it's all through that E placement. Down here, you've got a little more vertical space, if we will, instead of just an E vowel there. I'm mesmerized by the way that he'll do like kind of almost yells, but they're mostly pitched. It sounds a little bit like a Sprechstimme, if you're familiar with that, Schoenberg Sprechstimme in classical music. You should listen to it sometimes. It's pretty weird and disturbing, but give it a listen. So he reminds me of that. A little weird, a little disturbing, really impressive. So I like So on is, for example, you can tell that it's meant to be the same pitch in general as the one that comes right after, but he does like a little a toss up of it, which brings a different kind of expression present. And it's the same thing there on he is, and it has a lot of aggression in the sound in that way. It's a fascinating style. Okay, the vowel choices are super interesting. Pain, not pain, but pain. Going to that second diphthong right away. And it's never killer, killa. An vowel is much better to sing on most of the time than an vowel. So you'll notice he's going killa instead of killer. Imagine what the song would sound like if he went killer. It'd be very different. Go back just a little bit. Woo, that cut. I like the extra vibrato there at the top. It was nice. I totally wasn't sure if that was his voice or an upper guitar that was starting that top slide until it blossomed on top. Again, I love the way that he sounds a little bit like an electric guitar. Well, he looks very intense there. That was a really long note. Let's go back and see how long that note was. The other thing that's really interesting about this note is it did not resolve to the root on this long note. It was exactly a half step above. Half steps create a ton of harmonic tension. It's like very, 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 very tense. If you think about half steps, you think about like the Jaws theme, which is incredibly tense. So fascinating that they didn't resolve on that long note to the root. Instead, they went just a half step above. Oh, what a crazy, bold decision. I'm gonna watch this. It was about 20 seconds long. That's nuts. Whoa. I don't know if I have any overall impressions yet because my head is still buzzing. It's just like, The song is called Painkiller, but I'm not really sure that it killed any pain. I feel like I have like this like buzzing beating in my head now from a power drill voice. He's like a power drill. Wow. Even if I'm not sure if I like it, I think it is so impressive. I thought that the last note in particular was really, really, really cool. I think it'd be fascinating to hear what other kinds of interesting effects he could make with his voice. I want to hear him do a vocalise as an electric guitar. I think that'd be super awesome. It's such a unique sound. It's very different. I love that he has gone on for years and years to sing and create more material. I think that's really awesome with that kind of unique artistry. Ah, fascinating. Uh, Guys, thank you so much for the suggestion. I had no idea. No idea. Ah, you've been recommending it for a while, and now I just feel a little bit blown away and like, what happened? So, thank you for surprising me. Please keep making recommendations down below in YouTube comments or come and say hello to me on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Fridays in YouTube during our premieres, or come and say hi to me in Patreon, or come and say hi to me online and take an online course from me at thecharismaticvoice.com. Maybe somewhere I'll see you soon. And maybe I'll see you at a party sometime soon. Hey, I know I've got one of those coming up soon. So somewhere, someday, soon.